Borderlands 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. The type of game, the cartoonish style, the funny characters, and so much more truly made it a masterpiece. Coming into the third installment, it had some pretty big shoes to fill. Not only does Borderlands 3 fill those shoes, it stretches them out and breaks through. Somehow, they managed to capture the essence of what made the second great and flesh out the other parts as well. I'll start with the negatives since there are so few. The largest is definitely the bugs. There are way too many to count. Whether it's freezing after a cutscene, inventory showing wrong information, or the game completely crashing, chances are you're going to experience some issues. Normally, I wouldn't lower the score of a game too much because of a few bugs, since they can be patched out pretty quickly, but with the sheer amount of them, it's gonna be a while before they can fix everything. With that being said, these game-breaking bugs are still not enough to make me want to stop playing. This is just a small nuisance, but there are quite a few missions that have you going back and forth across the map. Now, this is to be expected with how big the areas they made are, but it really does slow the game down if you're in the middle of a fun quest. Like I said, this isn't a big problem, just a give and take with the map sizes. Now on to the positives. What would this game be without its countless variations of guns? No matter what style of play you like, even if you aren't the best with aiming, there's a list of guns that you will love. Legendaries seem to be almost common throughout, even in the early game. With this though, not every legendary is created equally. There are still dozens of extremely unique, overpowered guns to find, but others seem to be normal guns with a few extra stats and special flavor text. The new hub area, Sanctuary 3, has really been upgraded from the second. Each character has their own special room where you can put up decorations and your favorite guns. The bank has also been moved into your character's room. A new machine was added that takes any rare or better items that you may have not picked up and stores them for you to come and get them later. There are also the other typical things you would expect from Sanctuary, like slot machines and Crazy Earl. With the cartoonish style, Borderlands 2 still looks pretty good today, and Borderlands 3 refines it to take advantage of modern consoles. The best way I can describe it is crisp. The same can be said for the shooting. The guns in the second seem to always be pretty inaccurate, even if they were precision guns. In the third, however, if a gun is supposed to be accurate, it is accurate. This really lets you have a setup of guns to handle long, medium, and close range. The catch-a-ride system in this game gets a much-needed upgrade. You can now customize your vehicle down to what type of armor it has. This, added to the new vehicle types and parts, really make driving a fun part of the game, as long as you can master the controls. You can get new parts and vehicles by finding hidden ones, or by hijacking an enemy vehicle and bringing it back to the catch-a-ride machine. I don't think there will ever be a villain as funny, menacing, and cool as Handsome Jack, but the Calypso twins do a pretty good job in that role. Their topical banter is great, and their story is pretty unique too. My only real issue is that even though they're supposed to be an even bigger threat than Jack, they don't really feel like it. One common complaint with RPG side quests is that they're boring and repetitive, just having to go from point A to B, killing some enemies, collecting some items, and then returning. While most of the quests in Borderlands 3 follow this formula, they manage to keep things pretty fresh, breaking things up, having more unique enemies and fights, and the character dialogue to help you forget that you're just doing the same things over and over. Speaking of character dialogue, this game is an absolute joy to listen to. They were able to keep the returning characters just as funny as they were before, while adding in many new characters who are just as hilarious. While I really enjoy the writing, if you don't like the style of comedy, you're gonna be annoyed the entire time. Just a warning. The characters and abilities are kinda hard to talk about, since I've only played as one. I can easily say though that I've had a great time playing as Amara. They really fleshed out the perk system, giving the players a lot more customization for how they want to play. Before playing though, I recommend watching a video on the different characters to find out which one best fits you. Finally, they made a bunch of quality of life changes. Being able to turn off shared loot is my personal favorite. Not having to fight over the legendaries is a real friendship saver. Sliding and mantling were added as well. This makes traveling the map feel a lot more modern and helps add ways to get to secret areas. Another few smaller ones are being able to buy all the ammo from a vending machine with just a button, respawning and getting into vehicles with just a button, a pinging system to locate enemies and items, and many more. If you enjoyed Borderlands 2, play this game. If you want a fun RPG that's also hilarious, play this game. It's pretty simple. I think you should play this game. You are not going to be disappointed. Looking back at how much they supported the second, as well as how much content they continued to add, I expect this game to be relevant and receiving updates for at least a couple of years.